Merlin.
Hello.
Hello. Chris, can you turn him up?
One of us needs to be turned up in the headphone mix. And it's not me and it's not Alex. Well, now Merlin's gone completely. Merlin, you there?
Yes, I am here 20 minutes early every Wednesday. It's almost like you could come in and prep the studio or something.
This is Due By Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Merlin Mann, Alex Cox, and Max Temkin. This week's challenge, curate the MCU.
Alex, why am I bad?
I don't know. I saw it in the Skype chat, which I never know where it is.
What?
That you said you said come back. I do not think you are bad, or I don't think you're bad, and I don't remember what that was at all.
Okay, that was on July 3rd, which is 8 days ago.
It was.
And then today you typed to me in Skype, which you found somehow.
I
Good
did.
on you.
I know.
You typed "you are bad" in all caps. Why'd you do that?
I'm very jealous.
What's happening? Why are you jealous? What is happening? What is happening? This is supposed to be a happy occasion. Try so hard to pump you up, and you just will not be pumped. Why don't you be pumped?
I'm pumped. I've got my Diet Coke.
You got your Diet Coke? What do you got, Max? You got a sandwich or something?
Well, I'm making I brought the coffee to the studio today because there wasn't enough time to finish it. Ooh, and it's done. I'm doing a little pour over on the V60.
Ooh.
This looks different. What is this? Oh,
It's just a V60.
I know.
It's a small. It's like a.
Yeah.
I could tell just from listening that it was a V60. Yeah.
Ooh,
You just pour over.
that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
Here we
wow.
go. Okay, now I'm ready to go. So
The audience respecter has logged on.
I have a couple of pieces of follow-up. The chat said that they said in the Discord that I should stop doing my piercing cough directly into the microphone. I don't know if I don't know.
Noted.
I mean, who's the professional here?
Noted. I mean, there's a phrase from military communications that I wish we could bring in. You know, so like sometimes you say something to somebody, you say, you're feeling good today. And they might say yes. Or you say, hey, you feeling good today? And they might say, correct. And I think this is not a Kathy joke. I think we should be allowed to just say ack, which just means acknowledged. It means I've received your signal.
I hate Mondays.
Irving. Max, stop eating on air. Ack.
I'm trying to think of other famous comic catchphrases. Does Beetle Bailey have one?
Oh, let's see. He's lazy and he's beaten by his manager. Mm-hmm. Let's see. You got. There's a lot of visual ones. You get Andy Capp. I think he hits his wife and his wife hits him. You got Good Grief from Charlie Brown.
I don't think I've ever read a Peanuts comic strip in my entire life. I can recognize the characters because they're so ubiquitous in pop culture, but I have no nostalgia for it, and I don't like it, and I don't think I've ever seen the comic.
Okay, I have a thought on that.
And they're a little upsetting, the character designs to me.
Okay, all right, no, fair enough. You came of age, so to speak, at a time when Peanuts was not very good. I'm thinking about like when I was in college. So how old were you in, say, 1986?
Well, I would be -1 year old.
Okay, all right. Okay.
-7.
I want to start the show. I remember reading Peanuts in college, and I loved Peanuts my whole life. I had a collection of Peanuts comics that I read over and over and over. And then it got real. First of all, he brought in Spike. He overused Spike. His brother, Snoopy's brother from Needles, California, way overused.
I don't know if this is Spike Peanuts.
You're not familiar with Spike from Needles, California?
No.
But it got real pop culture-y, and it got real dad jokey. So I think you missed the. Have you ever seen the first Peanuts comic ever?
No.
Okay. This will tell you why you need to read Peanuts.
This looks like a guy, like the guy who puts on a mustache so he can get more free samples from Costco.
Hello. I'm a customer who's never been here before.
You just travel with your own personal sample disguise. Let me say, since Dr. Don's been on the podcast, I've been a lot less excited about the free samples at the grocery store because I do see people. I see people just stick their whole fat thumb right into the salsa.
Oh. Well, that's the one you see. That's the one you see,
Oh,
Max. You're seeing the second to the last person to touch that food. God willing, you're the last person to touch it. They're the second to the last. You don't know how many came in the chain before that. If you'll pardon my saying. Look at that comic.
Oh, they're adorable.
Now, where's the comic?
In our super secret.
Oh, I see.
Channel. Okay, so that's like in the early 50s.
Well, they're sort of lumpy.
Okay,
This is weird Twitter.
read the content. Okay,
Well,
first one. Two kids that I do not recognize are sitting on some steps, and they see a very happy Charlie Brown coming by, and the boy says, "Well, here comes old Charlie Brown. Good old Charlie Brown. Yes, sir. Good old Charlie Brown. How I hate him."
Right as he walks away, they're such
Right as he
catty.
walks away.
They're kind of catty bitches. Those girls.
Oh my God.
That's a boy, I think. They're throwing shade.
Don't be normative, Merlin.
Oh no!
But this is
I promised myself I wouldn't be normative this week. Oh no!
I guess maybe we shouldn't gender them at all
Oh
until
no,
we
my
ask.
gender.
Anyway, they hate him.
I have so much.
Oh my God.
I have so much follow up from this week, Alex. We've previously discussed that I was not 100% sure that TERFs were real.
Oh my
I thought that maybe it was some sort of psyop or some sort of. I thought that it was like a boogeyman. Like I hear people on Twitter accuse each other of being TERFs, but I've never met a TERF.
You thought it was like one of those folk monster kind of things.
I thought that it was like the Mothman, in that I know that there's a lot of discussion about the Mothman, but I'm not 100% sure that there's actually Mothman
It's like a
out
slender
there.
man with bangs.
Yeah. And so what is a TERF? A TERF is a political position. It stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. And these are sort of, what would you say? They're kind of a more old school feminist, and they believe...
No. They are no form of feminism whatsoever.
Well, okay, they're old.
They very much present as that.
They're old people who have co-opted the name of feminism, and they claim that the sort of trans rights movement is weakening... I honestly don't really completely follow their point, but it's...
Did you watch the ContraPoints video, Max?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I recommended that. How dare you?
You should check it out. You should check
what's
out
this?
ContraPoints.
ContraPoint. How do you spell that?
CONTRA points.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I mean, the way oversimplified version is people who believe so strongly about feminism that, boy, I'm going to get this wrong and you're going to get so much email about this, that they believe that trans women are men, that they have not lived the kind of discrimination and treatment that women have, and they're not entitled.
Because who experiences less discrimination than trans people? I mean, a class of people that Americans notoriously love and don't comment on. Yeah.
Max, they're both kinds. It's impossible. They could always just choose to be one or the other, you know?
So there's like more to that now, because it used to be that TERFs just hated trans women because, like you said, it's like, no, you haven't experienced the same oppression as people who were assigned female at birth. But now it's like, oh no, we basically it's like it's penis hate, which is they're transphobic. But now it's that all trans masculine people, and especially binary trans men, are basically contributing to what is it's lesbian erasure.
That was the theme in London, right, Matt or Alex?
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
So anyway, we've had this. Alex,
we will not be erased.
No.
So you and I have talked about this.
The thing now is bonkers, because it's like, oh, if you are a trans man, that means you are like denying your lesbianism. It's okay, sorry. Continue, Max.
It's like that movie Zardoz that now they just like come. It's like a giant floating TERF head comes out of the mist, and it's like the penis is bad, guns are good. Anyhow.
Boy.
Anyway, so we've had this conversation a lot, and I've said to you that it's so funny because we both like know people like who get engaged in these debates of people calling each other TERFs or whatever, and I always think it's a little bit funny because to me I'm like, these people, there's no such. It's like calling someone the Mothman. It's not real. But however, when you went to jolly old England. You like met the Mothman.
I did.
The Loch Ness Monster is alive and well and just walking around.
They call her Turfy.
England.
I saw Turfy.
Oh boy. Well,
so what was it? They had a rally or something?
So the first thing about like Pride in London, which I had no idea. It's everywhere. I put this on Instagram. If you don't have a Pride flag out during Pride, it's like not having an American flag.
Who doesn't want to wear the ribbon?
It was like a bit like overwhelming. And I just it was so weird. And like I'm like, did we just what's happening here? And we didn't like see a bunch of queer people. It was just rainbows everywhere. And the street signs, like you know how there's like a little man that you see when it's like, okay, it's okay to cross the street.
Yeah.
Then they had trans symbols instead of the little man crossing the street.
What's that kind of silhouette? How does that silhouette read, Alex?
Are you asking me to describe the trans symbol that I should know and I don't? Anyway, it was a lovely time.
Anyways, it sounds like it's just really like in the blood there. Like it's okay. It's all okay,
it's
right?
It's so weird that there's tolerance. Anyway,
can we just pause for a moment to say how strange that is given the past? I mean, they used to be, I think, more... America is I'm gay-splaining, but America was a very everything-phobic country to the point where we had coded laws for many years that did not specifically say it's illegal to be gay. We outlawed lots of things where you could prosecute somebody for being gay. But, for example, I was just watching that like surprisingly good Hugh Grant show, A Very British Affair on Prime. It's really good so far. It's got that handsome boy from James Bond in it. What's his name? The one who's not Timothy Chalamet. What's his name? Ben Wishbone. Ben Wishbone's in it. But it was like, look at what they did to poor fucking Alan Turing.
Oh yeah, no. Well, at least they had the courage to come out and actually make it illegal and jail.
But
jail
I mean, like,
people.
I guess all I'm trying to
chemically castrate them.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm just going to stipulate if this is correct that it was on the books that you will go to jail for being gay. People like Brian Epstein, lots of Beatles people like the grandfather from A Hard Day's Night. These are people who like faced like the destruction of their life or the near destruction of their life just for like the tattles that they might be cottaging,
and it's kind of like they're overcompensating. I don't know. It was like you asked like, oh, what's Maddie's cultural whiplash? It was like, what is happening? It was like, oh, cool, everything's fine here.
Shouldn't I be more ashamed? What?
I'm like, why am I comfortable walking around like London? Like, there's Islamophobia. It's not a perfect. It's a perfect city. London is the perfect city. I love it more than anything in my 5 days. No, so I expected to go bankrupt from this trip, and I was totally fine with it. But that's the thing. You don't need to. The tube is very, very cheap. And so
it's very diverse, though, right?
The tube.
It's okay. That's the thing. I got made fun of when I called it the underground, so I don't know what to. It's a tube.
The tube.
The tube.
The tube. But so the Pride.
Hang on, mate. I'm coming on the tube.
I can't with the
a British accent?
Hello, Governor.
Boy.
I'm riding the subway to Queensbury, Victoria. I've got my peas and mash in my buttercup hat.
But I've got get off the tube and go on the
okay, what do you think is going to be fake British lingo? You got to pull the wagon up under your trouser press.
Oh boy, I promised I wouldn't talk about London too much, but okay, the Gay Pride Parade.
Who did you promise that to?
Myself.
You have a lot going on, Alex. You know that, right?
I'm aware.
I asked you specifically to please share with us your feelings about your trip, in particular, your new obsession with the subway.
Okay. Well, first the whole Pride Parade thing. There were some like TERFs who they started the parade.
That's such a great word.
The Mothmen started the parade, and I was surprised.
Everybody around is the TERFs.
Flying monkeys.
Oh boy. Well, and there was like, all the
scatter TERFs, scatter,
erasure.
We are here. We are queer, except we don't want you to be. And the whole thing was there was a ton of outrage, but not concern, which is what I was kind of like so I was sort of like, wow, why did they let this happen? But of course they did it under like, they registered under like just women, like basically queer women of London or something. They weren't like L it out or whatever they're calling themselves. But the thing was, no one was there was no like concern. I don't know. How do I explain the difference between like anger and concern? Like people were very angry this had happened, but no one
in the sort of the feeling of the crowd and how they or how people reacted to the presence of these people, or how the people were acting.
The people. So I wasn't there when it was happening, but people were very angry that it happened. But once it came out that it wasn't, like, they basically snuck their way in.
Right. And they were like at the front of the parade, right?
They were, yes. But then there was no like concern over people's safety or the attitude of this, because everybody, or at least what I saw, like the folks who were actually in London and at the parade, they were all like, fuck these bitches, was essentially that. So it wasn't like in other like pride parades where there's controversy and there's like everyone's infighting. There's all like everybody's attacking each other. This was like, okay, we're all on the same page. Fuck these people. And then it kind of died, which was nice. Like they didn't get a ton of it. They got more attention in the States, I think, because that doesn't, I don't know. It was a nice feeling of everybody being like, okay, this is terrible and we're moving on and let's celebrate everybody else. But okay, the Tube, the Underground, whatever it is in London, the public transit there it's bonkers. I didn't think I'd be able to see much of London, but you can go anywhere in like 10 minutes. Like what takes like 3 different transfers on the L or the CTA in Chicago takes 1 in London, and I just fell in love with it. Everything is so sensible. It tells you which side you're supposed to walk on a ramp. It tells you where to go on the escalator. It feels like
well designed and thought out and planned.
It's like the city was. It's like someone took the time to be like, oh, you know what? We should probably put where people should walk. We should put where you can get.
They didn't do that though, because that city's just been there for 1,000 years.
But then they're like, this is bad. We should change it. Like,
no,
we
that's
should just
Chicago.
put the sign.
Chicago burned down, and they were like, we should put underground parking.
Yeah, but they didn't. Like,
aren't all the streets just as wide as a carriage?
Or Lori.
That's how Boston is.
Boston's
Boston.
a terrible city
Boston's
too.
So,
the city is laid out by parliamentarians.
But you go for the people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay for the cheese sticks.
There's nothing funny.
You had a very emotional reaction to this, so I think that's very interesting.
People thought I was being like goofy old Alex, but I genuinely love.
That's a character you created, by the way.
It's not a character. I don't.
Who created goofy old Alex? Who is that?
I don't.
Everybody likes you. You need to get pumped
technically,
up.
if it was created on work time, I own the copyright.
Mr. Banana Crapper.
If you use the office printer in the creation of goofy old Alex, in the service of the creation of this character,
you should do some forensics.
You would have a fiduciary responsibility to the company.
Do some forensics on her underpowered laptop. You could search her hard drive a lot faster if she had an iMac Pro. Mm-hmm. Think of it that way.
Very true. It would always be here.
I found 7 instances of time theft just involving the creation of this character. Hey, Alex, it sounds like you had a really good time, and it was really good for you and Maddie, and it sounds like it was really fucking cool and a nice tonic for you.
Yeah, no, we'll cut this out. But honestly, we've had opposite culture, like whiplash coming back, and it's like, oh yeah, it's terrible here. Oh yeah, people stare at us all the time.
I remember when I first heard that. I was probably in college when I very first heard that I guess is conventional wisdom now, that supposedly Americans are the only people who feel culture shock when returning to the United States, because everybody comes back, and you know that annoying kid who's like gone overseas, for a course or something. They come back and they're like, oh, why can't everything run like the bagel lines in Israel or whatever? And but it's so true. You come back and you're like, oh my God, other people have solved problems that we are never ever going to solve. They applied resources and they fixed a problem, and now everything just runs. And you're like, it's so frustrating to come back and just be like, how do we live like
I didn't have a panic attack going through security. It's like,
well, I think it's just because we have such cultural hegemony in the United States, and the country is so big and so insular, and people are so, you just live in this culturally ignorant culture like that surrounds you, that then it's so surprising and refreshing to go somewhere else. Whereas people in other countries, like if you live in another country, you're just automatically like exposed to more people from more cultures.
For now, yeah. I remember going through Heathrow, and this was probably 2010 or so, and I remember taking off everything. This was, really at the height of the security theater. We still had, visions of underwear bombs dancing in our heads. I'm taking everything off. I got my belt off. I got my shoes off. And this guy, in my head, I remember him looking like a bobby in London, but I don't think he was. But he said to me, "Please, sir, you're in Britain." I said, "Oh God, I'm so sorry. Let me put my clothes back on and put on my trousers."
Oh,
congratulations! It sounds like a good trip.
It was. It was the best.
And Maddie had fun.
Oh my God, Maddie! Like it was the thing of Tiff said that she was like, "Wow, slowly, I think Maddie has become less afraid of us." And I was like, "Yep, that's true. Yep."
Alex, everyone is less afraid of everything. I'm less afraid of. If I was being eaten by a shark, I'd be less afraid of the shark than you are of like other podcasters.
I forget. Well, that's the thing. I always tell people like, no, don't be friends. Like you don't want to be friends with other podcasts. You don't want to be friends with anybody. But
why?
It just,
what?
That's good. Really super good advice, Alex.
No, but you know what I mean. Like just because you hear someone's voice doesn't mean you enjoy them as a person. It just
in fact, they're probably very
it
harmful.
It just so happens that
terrible things about you behind your back.
I think a lot of podcasters when they try to befriend you, they're basically casing the joint to figure out when they can break in and steal
it's
your
the fucking
cables.
longest con ever.
Yeah.
Oh, come be on my podcast. Be on my podcast network. Be my friend.
Yeah.
Fucking long con. Your lesbian cordless drill is going away, my
That's
friend.
exactly right. Is it true? Is it not true that Mike Hurley knows exactly when you're in the podcast studio and he could break into your Blue Lives Matter house and steal your what's that? Your Sphero, one of your little robots.
Meep meep.
Max, you've got some follow-up. Dug-a-dig.
Oh, I have so much follow-up. Let's see here. Where to start? First of all, Engineer Chris, I'm literally begging you to do something to make Merlin louder in my headphones.
Hello.
Can we maybe turn Alex and I down?
Do you want me to? Should I turn mine? Should I turn up my mic?
I don't think it's you, Merlin, unless you've made radical changes in the last week.
Wait.
That's not a control that we have.
Yeah.
Okay, I have turned me up.
Great.
I have turned me up, and I am near the red on the USB pre, but pretty good.
This is much better.
Okay.
Great. Cool. So now my volume is up and we're quieter. Okay, cool. It's very hard not to talk over Merlin because I can't. He's coming in very faintly in my headphones.
I lie. I just interrupt Merlin. I'm like, oh, sorry, there's a delay. Robots.
That's fine. I like you.
All right,
you can't turn me against you. I'm gonna tell you what I tell my daughter. You know what your problem is? I trust you. That's your problem. Your problem is I trust you. You can't hurt me. You could try.
Well, we know when you're out of the house getting your phone. We could.
Shit.
We could organize a break-in and plant the Two of Hearts in your deck of cards.
But how do we know that the PG&E people aren't Russians? Is the question.
Oh, a Russian psyop.
Follow up, Max, remember you guys that sent you the screen grab, the greatest next door post ever?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay, dig it, Max.
Do you want me to read it? You have to read it.
No, I want you to do your follow-up.
Okay, sure. So I have a couple of different things. First of all, as you may know, if you're a listener of the Do By Friday podcast, we actually record 2 episodes every week. There's this episode, which you're listening to for free because I assume you're listening to it for free because you're an ingrate and you don't care for us. But if you're a true fan of the Do By Friday podcast and you want to befriend us in real life, you can go to giveusyourfuckingmoney.com and you can give us your fucking money. You can give us $5 a month and you get access to a second episode every week. It's our after show where we plan the next week's challenge and talk about things that will probably get us in trouble if we put it on the main podcast feed. This week we have a very special guest joining us on the after show to pitch the challenge for next week and participate in this week's challenge, I think, and you can find out who that is. Should we say who it is?
That's a pretty special guest.
I feel like that's pretty pro shit.
Yeah.
So
I think we should. I'm excited about this.
So we're going to be joined by author, public speaker, critic, and founder of the Feminist Frequency Network, Anita Sarkeesian, who's going to be pitching a challenge to us next week. So you can hear that on the after show if you go to
Is she officially a friend of the show, Max, or do we just admire her?
No, she's officially a friend of the show.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a friend of the pod, and
has she heard? Oh my God, use that code. Has she heard the show?
Not only listens to the show, but occasionally texts me and tells me that I'm wrong about something on the show. So
Thank you, Anita.
Yeah. So anyway, you can dial into the after show at giveusyourfuckingmoney.com. I know I said dial in like it's a radio, but you can find it wherever podcasts are found.
Oh God.
At giveusyourfuckingmoney.com. Let's see what else. Number 2, Senator. Let's see, this comes out on Friday. Senator Tim Kaine from the great state of Virginia will be at the Cards Against Humanity office tonight.
What?
And I believe, on Friday when this comes out.
What?
Yeah, he called me and asked me to do an event for him.
Is this the guy from the campaign?
He's the guy. He was. You may remember him as What's-Her-Face's running mate. And
oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. No, he's like he likes like cool bands and stuff, right?
Yeah, he just called me
like
on my
Husker
cell
Du and
phone.
stuff?
Oh my God.
You know what? He called me on my cell phone and he asked if we would do an event for him at the office, and I said we would if he played the harmonica, and he agreed that he would play the harmonica. So he kind of called my bluff. So he is coming tonight.
Presently, you should dance for me, Kane.
And, well, I thought that might be enough to not have to do the event, but here we are.
Oh boy.
And I will put a link. We have just added. Their suggested price to get a ticket would be $5,400 to join the host committee join as a co-host.
Well, I will not be seeing you Friday.
And you could take you could take an official photograph with Senator Tim Kaine for that amount of money. But
can you ask him about the Supreme Court nominee?
But yeah, well, So
can you have Anita talk to him about that?
So I believe
love to get you on our side on that one, Kane.
So I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Listen, I don't have a law degree.
You don't follow politics.
I don't follow politics. But I think if you do give the senator $5,400, I think you get one vote of his that you can pick in the upcoming calendar year.
It's like a coupon for Hot Topic? Like you could apply it wherever applicable?
It's good. It's good. Exactly. It's good for one calendar year. You get one vote. Now that's a joke.
Alex, you have no idea how many Hot Topic coupons
That's a joke
have.
That I just want to clarify that I'm doing a humorous bit that is not, in fact, true. But you can join the host committee for $5,400, or if you want, you could just get a ticket for $30. And
what if people want to stream it, Max? Can they stream it?
We're not doing a stream of this.
No.
But it'll be fun. We're doing a comedy show. He's going to play the harmonica and give a little talk, and they'll probably be like deviled eggs or something like that. So that's $30,
nice.
And we'll put the link in the show notes if you're in Chicago. And let's see. I think I might have had one other. Let me refer to my notes here. What else did I have? Oh, right. So last week, Jen and I, friend of the show, Jen. I don't know why we call her a friend of the show. I'm pretty sure she doesn't listen.
I think we're a friend of her show.
Yeah, I think we're a friend of. I think our podcast that we listen to, Friendshipping host Jim Bain and I had a call with this group called Raices, and they're a group of lawyers in Texas who are basically posting bail for the children in these immigration camps. And they're just they're just lawyers, and they went down to Texas to help these kids, and every day they write bond checks, and they walk to the ICE office and do the legal paperwork and basically post bond and get these kids out of these camps and reunite them with their families. And Jen and I had sort of a strategy call with them. We were talking about some live streaming stuff, and I wanted to sort of do a proof of concept. So that night I set up a little stream in my basement with the Do By Friday Discord server. We invited everyone to come and stream some Jackbox games with us. And a friend of the show, Matt, our Discord moderator, was joined us for that. And I put up a little goal on the screen, like a thermometer, and I was like, let's try and raise $300 for Raices. And we played games for about 2 hours with the Do By Friday audience, and we raised $1,300 in 2 hours just playing video games. So thank you.
So cool.
It was very cool. So thank you very much. Thank you kindly to the Do By Friday audience for doing that. And in fact, it was so successful, and I had so much fun that I think we're going to make that a regular thing. So I will be doing some more streaming. And if you're on the Do By Friday Discord server, you can join for that. And I have a little survey that I created to ask people what gimmicks they want me to do on the stream that would be the most fun for them to watch. And Alex will also post that survey in the show notes. It's just 3 questions of what kind of games do you think would be fun for us to play on the stream. But by far, I will say the most requested thing that people said would raise the most money for charity is Merlin and Alex, if you guys come on the stream and play some games.
I said it was 4 a.m. my time.
Well, whatever. If those kids aren't important, you all have to prioritize.
Well, I heard about this stream the next morning when people are like, "Where's Alex?"
This is the first I'm hearing about this.
Well, it wasn't. It was very. It wasn't planned.
Do you guys have Galaga?
Yeah, he smashed a watermelon.
Oh,
no, that's the other guy. That's his brother. That was Galaga 2.
That's
I just don't know. I don't know what video game I would play.
Well, have you ever played Quiplash or Fibbage or anything like that?
Oh, Fibbage, yeah. Oh, I was back in middle school. Quidditch, and Fibonacci were.
So we'll have you
I was huge on those.
I always play the Quidditch and the Fibonacci.
One of the problems is what I call the damsel in distress trope.
Oh boy.
We played one game. We played one game called TKO, where you like design funny T-shirts. And did you see the one that someone made of your face?
Oh yeah, I did see those. Those were funny.
Yeah, so you could come on and do that. You just play on your phone.
Oh, okay. Just schedule it. Please schedule it and be on time.
Yeah.
I can promise to schedule it.
Oh boy.
Let's see. Further follow-up. Is
it follow-up or is it promotion, Max? What are we into the proper follow-up?
Let's follow forward. So you guys know that I like to browse the app Instagram, and for a long time on Instagram, I was part of like a protected class of like Instagram power users that didn't see any advertisements. Have you guys heard?
Right.
Yep.
You guys know about that?
You're the specials. Yeah.
Well, for a while, but then all of a sudden I started seeing ads. I think I believe also like when I started seeing ads, I think Gruber might have posted something and saying, "Hey, is anyone seeing ads all of a sudden on Instagram?" But that thing is crawling with ads. Do you guys see the crazy ads on Instagram?
Oh, yeah.
What do you get ads for?
Let me open it up right here because it's now every other.
It's about every third. It's gotten like Tumblr. It's about every third.
It's so many ads, and they're for such crazy bullshit. I get a lot of Soylent ads.
Oh, look at that pretty cat. Oh.
So Nintendo Switch got
really? That's like a reputable ad.
There's one it's Medcline, which is a pillow that it's just a fancy pillow. The Olivia, which is it's a fancy phone case.
They've really got you dialed in.
I got
wow.
No, guys, there's Lux, which is a battery case. Phone gadgets, which is
my God.
Do you get camera? I get camera accessories. Do you get a lot of like Kickstarter or like Indiegogo camera accessories?
I mean, not like from real companies, but many like, Kickstarter and Indiegogo things.
Scammy Indiegogo.
Yes.
This is the craziest tripod head you've ever seen.
Oh, did you see the octopus tripod? Yeah, that's the one I got. A piece of luggage called Paravel.
Well,
yeah.
I get the ads on Instagram that are like the equivalent of old people seeing catheter ads on Fox News.
I love to fly my plane with my catheter. It's just virtually painless.
Wow.
I just get such condescending ads that make me feel like such a piece of shit when I go on Instagram. But I got an all-timer the other day that I need to share with you guys. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and post this in the chat here. So this is for a food, and it's a bar. It's a food bar, and it's called Night Food. Registered trademark. And I'm going to read a little bit. It looks like a dry, crumbly snack bar. And I'm going to read the copy now. It says
it looks like something you would give your kid and say, "No, try it. It's not bad."
some sort of carob and nut bar.
It's got like a cute monster on it. It's got pretty good packaging.
They
a
look
cute
like
monster.
kudos.
And it says, "Is your night snacking out of control?" And then 3 question marks. Hey, you're not alone. 70% of Americans snack at night. The most popular choices: cookies, chips, ice cream, and candy, aka good things that we enjoy eating. Deep down inside, you know you really shouldn't be eating that stuff at all, especially not right before you go to bed. Your nightly
Snaccident.
Your nightly snacksident.
Your nightly snacksident
is
killing your diet and messing with your sleep. Snacksident.
The bad news.
I'm not sure if I'm going to allow that.
The bad news is that do you guys ever remember that ad for eyelash paste for ladies, and it advertised that it would give you more curlaceous lashes?
I think that's still a thing.
The bad news is those nighttime cravings aren't going to go away suddenly. The good news is, guess what the good news is?
What?
There's Night Food registered trademark. Night Food. Delicious Night Food registered trademark snack bars are especially formulated to satisfy. Specially formulated to satisfy
Now the day is over. You didn't need me to begin because it was Snaccidental.
Snaccidental.
Got those cookies and candies, but it makes you feel like a nighttime monster because it's Snaccidental. And you can find these bars if you get them on the web, and then we'll send them to you. If not, you will be dead. At NIGHTFOOD, that's night food.
Oh, boy.
We owe Jonathan Mann
So
money now.
long.
I know.
Order a
Not
box
familiar with their
now,
work.
or try both flavors with free shipping. If you don't love him, let us know and we'll refund your money. Simple.
Oh, so it's free food.
Free food.
Free
this is
real
free
estate.
Free real estate. This message is for Jim Booney.
Oh, boy.
Free real estate.
Oh, I just got an idea for Patreon reward. Okay, go. You got to go to giveusyourfuckingmoney.com because I think I have a good one.
Are we going to send people night food?
No, I think I have a good one, though, that people have requested I do. Okay, anyway, so did you purchase this?
No. What are you talking about? Of course not.
What? I don't know.
Should I buy it for the podcast?
I want
Yes.
some.
Oh, let's see. Investors.
Challenge.
Here we
Challenge.
go. Investors. Now, this is taking me to ir.nightfood.com. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. They're VC funded.
Well, of course they are. Of course they are.
No.
What ad on Instagram isn't VC funded or kickstarted?
I don't know if I want this. I'm pretty lousy with bars anyway.
Have you
Lousy
ever
with
just
bars?
eaten one bar? Isn't the suggested serving size of a Pop-Tart one
Wait.
Pop-Tart?
Real-time
That's
follow-up.
criminal.
I got, eat me. You'll crush
Alex,
it today.
explain what's happening.
I got, Maddie
I'm in the studio with you and I don't know what's happening.
Maddie left me a note that says "eat me," which is not. No, it's
Wow.
but it's a
Cute.
point. It's a point pointing to an RX bar, and you'll crush
It's
it
kind of
today.
appropriating lesbian culture.
Yeah, I
think.
know. Love you so much, Maddie. Hooray! But this
Aw.
bar, yeah. Oh, thank you, Matt. I'm very hungry now. I have no idea what time to eat anymore. I don't know what time to. I have no.
Are you still feeling? You're still
God.
pretty jet lagged, right?
Well, that's the thing. I keep doing like what's his I'm doing a reach around where it's like
Okay.
yeah. Now I'm like I'm like on Pacific time. I have no idea.
Oh, you did a full reach around. Well, you know, the
And-
problem is your organs. Do you know about this? What really causes jet lag? It's not just the time difference. It's not just the sleep. It's also the food. It's basically several of your organs are very confused about what time it is, and your organs might actually believe several, like 3 or 4 of your organs might think it's different times right now, and that's why you're so fucked up.
Yeah, I had a friend make me a workflow to figure out what time to take my meds because it's like it's a big
I could be
juggling
sitting there
bipolar
with a
act.
calculator, a laptop, and an iPhone, and I still can never figure out what time it actually is. It's the worst.
I really like RX bars, guys. See, now you can get mad at me for eating and not Max. Oh,
Those are
sticky.
good. I like the chocolate sea salt one.
No BS.
No.
Well, I don't. Honestly, I don't really want to talk about the news this week. Do you think we need to cover anything?
No, that's okay. I had a couple things from. I'm now declaring him a friend of the show. He doesn't know it yet, but I'm declaring Will Summer a friend of the show. He had a couple real good things this week.
Yeah, let's go. Let's talk about that. And
Do you
also,
wanna
Scott
read-
Pruitt resigned. I think as a result of our podcast.
Yeah. Do you want to read never mind. You're not in the doc for some reason.
There's a doc. Well, I don't want to read this whole thing, but I wait. Did I read? Is this the explainer?
No. I'll read a little of this.
Please,
So
yeah.
basically, this the new friend of the show, Will Summer. Hi, Will. Come on our show. Come on, Do By Friday. This is yesterday. He was live covering, so the headline, Seth Rich conspiracy theorist event fizzles spectacularly. Lobbyist Jack Berkman invited reporters to huddle around a phone in a Holiday Inn conference room on Tuesday, promising damning revelations about the 2016 murder of Democratic National Committee staffer Seth Rich. On the other end of the call, Berkman insisted was a former intelligence operative with an explosive revelation. Government agents from the DEA and ATF were behind Rich's murder. Berkman's source, codename Luke, was about to blow the still unsolved case open. So the event had a lot of problems. Let's get into the good ones here. The event was the latest production from Berkman, an attention-hungry Washington character whose previous causes have included banning gay athletes from the NFL. After initially considering having his mystery source appear in person with a quote-unquote mask or bag over his head, Berkman eventually opted for the call, claiming it was too dangerous for a source to appear in public. Berkman, dressed in a silvery suit and crocodile skin loafers, quipped before the press conference that he was successfully recovering from an attempt on his own life in March, that had the apparent result of a feud with an underling over the direction of their freelance rich investigation. "I have 2 bullets in me," Berkman told the Daily Beast.
I'm still looking at this microphone setup in this photograph here. Like, what's happening? There's a zoom.
I don't think that's how microphones work. Okay, here we go. He couldn't get the call to work. The call from his tipster, ostensibly whistleblowing, kept getting bounced back to the phone at the reception desk at the Northern Virginia Hotel. Berkman scrambled out of the room, leaving reporters and Berkman's online audience watching live from a variety of live streams operated by fringe internet personalities, wondering what exactly was going on. Let's see. Okay, here we go. With the press, this is so good. With the press and YouTube live streamers crowded around the phone, Luke spun a confusing tale involving 2 assassins, or maybe 3 assassins, from the DEA and ATF, tracking Rich to murder him and take a thumb drive containing confidential documents. The supposed whistleblower story grew as the call went on, with Luke claiming that he had passed a lie detector test administered by the Secret Service, and he'd also received vague help from the House Intelligence Committee. Luke wouldn't explain why anyone should believe him, and he grew flustered when asked to explain his claim that the House Intelligence Committee was involved in his investigation. They helped us with computer things, Luke said. Anyway, and apparently it was received very poorly by the community.
There was an op-ed, and I think in the I want to say in the New York Times today, and I was basically saying that who's the Trump's this ghoul that he appointed? He's appointing. Can't remember his name.
Oh, you talking about Kavanaugh?
Kavanaugh. Yeah, they were saying that Kavanaugh's actually
Lil Gorge.
Lil Gorge. They were saying that Kavanaugh's actually a moderate because he doesn't believe, he looked into the matter and he doesn't believe that Hillary Clinton murdered Vince Foster. So he's actually a moderate.
He's a centrist.
He's a centrist, right. It's like good for Trump for having the dignity to appoint a moderate, sensible centrist who does not believe, he takes the centrist position that Hillary Clinton did not murder Vince Foster.
As far as he knows. That's the beauty of a true centrist if you're going to have a centrist jurist. A centrist jurist is somebody who is not completely sold on the thing everybody else knows, which is that it's a bunch of pedophile murderers. But, his mind is open, and that's important.
I liked that Will Sommer explainer on QAnon that came out this week. That was fucking good. Phenomenal.
Did you see the thing about spinal fluid?
Go on.
I love this guy so much. Yeah, I was talking to him on the Twitter yesterday, saying how funny it was. You basically, I didn't realize how much I liked this guy. I didn't have a name to go with the work that I had been enjoying, and that you had sort of turned me on to his stuff.
This is good radio.
This is why we edit. Shut up. Okay, this is from July 9th, Will Sommer. This weekend's QAnon development, the QAnon crew has become fixated on fluids, especially a spinal fluid they claim globalists drain from children and eat to survive. It's really escalating.
Oh, boy.
Again with the fluids. Watch the water.
Have you guys ever seen the picture of how they get the fluid out of the crabs?
No, how do you get crab fluid?
Hang on.
A crab juicer?
So the title of this article is "The Blue Blood of a Horseshoe Crab is Precious." So they take these horseshoe crabs and they put them in these contraptions and they extract their special liquids. They're precious. What is it? Precious bodily fluids.
Purity of essence. Peace
Look at
on
that
earth.
Picture. It's one of the craziest sci-fi things I've ever seen in my life. Look at that.
Oh, I don't think I like that at all. Oh, no. At least we got our show art. Oh, my goodness.
Isn't that incredible? I every once in a while I remember that this picture exists and I go online and I look at it and I go, no, man, humans are...
Was that blood?
So cool. I don't know. It's precious...
Oh, yeah. Look at us.
It's a PBF. It's a precious bodily fluid.
Oh, God. I will no longer sit back and allow communist infiltration, communist indoctrination.
We've really made these crabs our bitch. Look at that. We're getting their blue juices.
We cut the crabs.
Do you still listen to the Ezra Klein show, Merlin?
I sometimes go by who the guest is.
Well, there's this whole thing about how the greatest atrocity that humanity is committing is that we're killing animals and eating them. Which,
right.
But this thing, it's like we're the aliens or the robots in the Matrix. Whatever.
Oh no, this is definitely very bad. This is so very bad.
Oh my God.
This is like that season finale of Voyager where the other Starfleet ship has the what is it? They're like the the temporal creatures, and they're like draining their precious bodily fluids for the warp energy.
Oh, yes.
Classic episode.
Classic. Did you guys listen to the MP3 I sent you?
Should I click on it now?
Look in the text for the word hot.
I'm clicking on it now.
Please turn up your laptop very loud.
Okay. For some reason, my laptop is not producing any sound. Alex, this might be on you.
What? Your laptop isn't plugged into anything.
But the speakers are on. I don't know.
I just want you to hear it in the room. You can always add it later.
Here,
Yeah,
I'll,
you do it.
I'll do it. His laptop isn't connected
I don't know.
to anything.
These laptops have many bugs. Has anyone said that these touch Mac...
First I'm hearing of it.
Hot hands?
Hot hands.
Hot hands.
Hot hands. Hot hands.
Hot hands.
Hot hands.
What?
Who did this?
Syracuse.
Oh my God!
Hot hands!
Okay,
Hot hands!
we gotta do it again.
Hot hands?
Hot hands.
Hot hands.
Hot hands. Hot hands.
Hot hands.
Hot hands.
Hot hands!
Oh my!
Can you drop that in?
Oh my God!
Why did he make this?
Oh.
Because he hears things that we don't hear. See if I can find the actual transcript here. What did he say?
I saw a picture on Instagram of all the ATP boys
Oh, wasn't that cute?
all wearing their little suits.
He looks so handsome.
Like the first day of school, all lined up. John Syracuse he's a handsome man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't throw him out of my bed for eating pearl.
Do you guys want to see another picture of the crab hooked up to the fluid extractor?
Yes.
I mean, no, but I know it's going to happen.
Put it in the chat right now.
Blue blood.
They're precious bodily crab fluids. I mean, we also eat them, so I don't know how bad this is in comparison, but...
When the crab's blue-colored blood. Oh God.
Oh, no, this one's worse. Mm-hmm. This one looks like it's got a kind of David Fincher quality. Oh, no. Oh.
The whole thing is very H.R. Geiger to me.
Yes. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this looks like the the liquid they use in tampon commercials.
Oh, you're right. The fake Menses.
What if that's what it's? Oh God, what
Maybe
if it's
that's where
not
it comes
detergent?
from.
That's where it's using the
That's
precious
what
crabs.
we need it for.
That's what we need it for.
Pad commercials.
Most of the blue liquids you get are photo blue. They're not going to show up on a camera.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, the horseshoe crab looks like a Menses. That's good.
I wonder if we like to come up with different like businesses and startups here on the Dubai Friday.
Well, I think of us as an incubator.
Well, I think it's either we're gonna have to start reading ads for financial products and mattresses, or we're gonna have to get one of these businesses going. And I wonder. So we know from the investor material from Night Food that the nighttime snacking industry is a $7 billion a year industry, and we also know that people want their precious bodily fluids from the crabs to restore their vital energies. Now, I wonder if you couldn't do some sort of. Like one of those like little like poppers that you do like a 5
so you bring together a dame and a Lori.
Oh, I'm familiar.
Yeah. you know what I'm talking about? It's like one of those little shots.
Yeah, I did one a couple
like a 5-hour crab energy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a night food, but it's for nighttime. It's 5-hour crab night energy.
I see. Okay.
Can it also give you a boner?
I think that's going to happen no matter what we do. That's
so full of crab energy.
Honest to God, when Max was like talking about draining the crab fluid, I'm like, well, I've never had crabs. Is this? I thought it was an underbit situation.
It's a pretty blue.
No. Oh God, it's so blue. Like,
well, it's going to be. Think of how you put it in a clear bottle. That way, people know that they're getting only the highest quality crab fluids.
Oh God.
And we'll have listen. We're going to have a whole array of these crab extractors.
They're like in these. They're
crab
not.
extractors.
That's the thing. They're not even.
And then we'll just have what is that? What is that? The little straw going right.
I mean, how much could it cost? You get a bungee cord, and you get a wire, and you get a bottle. I mean, the markup that we could do on this would be tremendous. Giving people nighttime energy crab boners.
I think you're selling an evening crab shot for $8-9 a piece.
You know what? We'll tell them it's an adaptogen. Like it's not for anything, but it might be for everything.
Well, we're not. I mean, legally the FDA is.
No, the FDA will not allow us to tell you you're going to get a crab boner.
Yeah. Now, Do a lot of people say that they get crab boners when they take this? Yes.
Anecdotally, yes, absolutely.
Legally, are we allowed to say that you will get a boner? Not within the law, no.
But say goodbye to Snaccidents.
But that's because
I love the idea of a Snaccident. Like, fuck! I can't believe I ate that. Like you're out of your mind. Like you black out and didn't know you ate a whole pan of brownies. Oh, I made a Snaccident.
birthday cake falling out of your mouth.
Oopsie poopsie.
Oopsie doopsie.
Oh, God.
Maybe you come.
Can I ask you one very short bit of follow-up, please, Max, just for my own interest?
Please. I invite it.
Okay, is it correct? Did you dip a toe into Kitchen Nightmares?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Yeah, so based on your recommendation last week, I've never actually seen the show Kitchen Nightmares. I've only ever heard people talk about it and seen it parodied and things like that. And I watched 2 episodes on Merlin's recommendation. I watched with Veronica. So first we watched the one which is the one where he goes, "It's Rotten Mohammed." It's Rotten Mohammed.
That is the Indian/British restaurant in Manhattan with the very, very touchy and incompetent manager who loves his flip phone. And then you also watched Amy's Baking Company.
Yes, we watched one for, so this is one where Gordon Ramsay goes to a restaurant called Amy's Baking Company, and this can't be real. I mean, it must be, I don't know if they're crisis
Most people come in and say that's the best pizza they've ever had in their life.
I think that I might have seen David Hogg in there. I think the whole thing might have been...
Crisis actor restaurant.
I think the whole thing might be fab. I think it's a false flag because they have cameras in there when he walks in.
I always have to point that out to my daughter. I choose to point that out to my daughter that we are watching a TV show that is very manicured. And whenever you see Gordon entering the restaurant, there's already a camera there, which means there's already lighting there, which means there were already producers. The producers know where the mice and the roaches are. They know before he ever arrives. They know you should never order the crab cakes. He's going to ask if they're frozen, and they're always frozen. The crab cakes are always frozen.
Me, to my daughter, when I see Gordon Ramsay come into the show Kitchen Nightmares, that's Gordon Ramsay.
That's Gordo. Okay, good. I'm just glad you watched.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. That show was crazy. I don't want to watch more. It was very upsetting.
His new show is somehow even stupider. His new show is called Gordon Ramsay 24 Hours to Hell and Back. And he does the same thing as Kitchen Nightmares, except it's got 2 twists. The second twist is he has to do the entire turnaround in 24 hours. Quote unquote. The first twist is that he finds a way to enter the restaurant wearing a disguise. He pretends to be part of a jazz band. With a strap-on beard, and it's real bad. He makes the entire staff, and all the diners come out and look at the side of a semi where he has a giant screen come out of a truck to show them all the mice in the toaster.
Now, one of the funniest things about Kitchen Nightmares is Gordon Ramsay comes in, he's losing his mind, and he's
rubbing his head.
There's rotten food, and he's got his head down in his hands, and he's shaking. Yeah, he orders his salmon burger, and he pokes at it, and he
squeezes
goes,
it.
Oh no. He's so stressed out, he's losing his mind. Nobody asked him to be there. He's not in charge of this restaurant. Why is he so stressed out?
They had to do weeks, and they go out. I'm sure you know what? Save it for another show. We should make this a challenge. But it's something where they go out and find struggling restaurants run by alcoholic OCD sufferers and very problematic people. And then the producers go in there and just tear the fucking place apart. Gordon hates dust.
Do you think Dr. Don has seen this?
Oh, that's a good question. That would be a good one.
What I want to know is are most restaurants like this, and just the ones that are that most restaurants like this and they have coping mechanisms so that as the guest you don't see it, or are these special cases and Gordon Ramsay just finds them?
I mean, I hate to say this. I'm not saying this to make a joke. Many of these people are obviously clinically depressed. And the last thing that they want to do is scrape the grease out from under the oven. And they're in total denial about their life. They have terrible financial problems. Some of them are alcoholics. And it's so difficult to watch because you can see how they're supposed to be real game about the whole thing. You've got to fight back for the first 2 acts. And then in the third act, you have to agree to Gordon making your restaurant blue and serving a burger. And
so blue.
Yeah, everything's gray blue. And then you're supposed to be real grateful. And then you always end up going to this one Blogspot account that tells you what happened to the restaurant after. Not good. Not a good slugging percentage for Gordon.
So it's a
Most
little
of
bit
them
like The
close.
Bachelor. Like, you don't
Oh,
want to
do you
know.
follow up on that?
Well, when we had a friend of the show, Allie, on,
Right.
I believe she said there's been like 30 seasons within the Bachelor verse, and only 2 couples have ever stayed married.
Jeez.
Can't imagine why. Do you think Queer Eye's real?
Did you
I
read the
think-
article?
Which one is
The
that?
one I sent you about the trans man and his
the-
behind the scenes stuff?
Oh, yeah,
it was like
Skylar.
it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
it was like I saw that, and it was like the one shocking thing that Skylar wants you to know about
I
what
know.
it was really like
It's
to be
a
on Queer
shitty,
Eye.
shitty- yeah.
And then you click on the article, and
he's
it's like
it was great.
pretty good.
These
Yeah.
guys were so
It
much
was like-
nicer
it was
than you could
awesome.
even see.
Yeah. No, I
think it is. I think it is
it's
real
so
in the sense
good.
that
I
those
like it
guys
a
are
lot.
they're very charismatic, and I think they do tend to very genuinely probably care to the extent that they, would about any stranger. I think they get a tremendous amount of help, especially on the home stuff.
Oh, well, I mean, they show the
don't-
contractors.
Yeah, they don't.
you know?
Hide, they don't hide that. They have a
Yeah.
whole crew
But see, like,
of
yeah, okay.
worker bees who swarm in.
You asked,
Yeah.
and I'm saying, like, I'll tell you what amazes me though is Jonathan seems to genuinely have some grooming skills. Like, that guy seems like.
Well, so I remember I used to watch the old Queer Eye, and it
Me
was
too.
family television. Like, I watched it with my parents, and it was like part of it was that we watched a lot of Bravo in my house growing up, because Bravo had reruns of West Wing and Sports Night, and like sort of the really good TV all the time.
Bravo
And
used to be
Top
like
Chef.
A&E. Bravo used to at one time was like a culture
It was
channel.
great. And so Bravo, almost every night when we were having dinner, if we were to watch TV, Bravo was like the consensus choice, because it would be a rerun of West Wing, or it would be Top Chef, or it would be Queer Eye. And that was how how we got into it. But I remember in the old one, there was like a grooming guy, but I don't recall that he ever cut the hair. I think he would sort of take them to the salon and show them how to use the salon. But it is more, I agree with you, like, it's more personal that Jonathan shows them how to like make a cosmetic and use it, and actually cuts their hair and is part of their story.
And the all-time GOAT, that first episode where he's showing the guy how to help with his lupus and use this green stuff, and like, that's one of the best episodes of TV ever. That I don't know if it's all true. Supposedly they got married and are still together, him and Abby.
Yeah.
But the one with Skylar was really good, not least because it had Cards Against Humanity in it. But but also, no, I just thought that was such a nice episode, and I liked Skylar's follow-up of that, of like, well, there's all kinds of like, how did he put it? Like behind the scenes, sort of like educating them, like, because you get the feeling that Tan is a pretty traditional fancy gay guy. Like, I don't get Tan does not seem to me like a guy who's like going out to lots of rallies and stuff. Like,
He's a basic ass gay.
okay, all right,
That's
yeah.
not a bad thing. Like, it's not.
But he's
bad.
very open
yeah.
and seems to like learning things. But I don't know. Who knows how much of it is.
Honestly, that describes a lot of gay friends that I have.
Yeah.
Of like, they are gay, and that is that's like one of their attributes, but they haven't made it like their main thing. Like, they would rather be comic book guy, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's like I got a couple neighbors that have been together. Our next door neighbors have been together for probably 25 years, and they very much read like that to me. Like, I don't think that they're self-identifying. I don't think they're sitting down and like really digging into books to learn new stuff every day about the struggle. Like, they have a very comfortable life in a city where what they do is just not a thing. It's just so
but
fucking
also
normal.
like, people forget, because I think that Tan and some of the guys I think I saw that they might have gotten some heat online for that, for not knowing things about trans issues or whatever. But remember also in the episode where they've helped the guy with coming out in the first part of the season or whatever,
The black guy?
The black guy, yeah.
I love that one.
One of the things that they were able to say to him is like, you can be gay and be an out gay man and not have it be the only facet of your identity,
Even
right?
if
Like,
you want your sex swing still in your living room.
I love the sex swing.
oh, he had the harness too, right? Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right,
he
right.
did have a lot going on. Listen,
Yeah, a lot going on,
people,
yeah.
But listen, people are complicated, and I do think it's a bummer that. Listen, I'm not gay, so I don't know what this is like, but I can see that how there would be pressure on someone, that if you are gay, that you might be bummed that there's this like a pressure on you to make it a larger part of your identity than it actually is in your own self-conception. Not for everyone, for some people, right? Like, some people are like, yeah, it's like I'm straight, but it plays almost 10 10% role of my self-conception of myself, and I wouldn't want it to play a higher role.
Well, thank God. I mean, first of all, it's the definition of privilege. And second of all, the people who do that are horrible people. The people who mainly identify as being straight, oh my goodness.
There's
my God.
one of those.
One thing I think we can say about them is that they're definitely straight.
Oh man. One thing about I kind of like how you guys are into you follow up on like TV and shit. Most people have no idea that like there was a ton of drama around this show, the Skylar episode, and it was fine. Everything like this show is for families. Like they
Alex,
don't
tell us what the drama. I'm not as up on this as you are.
Sorry.
What is the problem? Who's mad about what?
The drama is. First of all, they thought that Bobby used a word that's like not quite a slur, but it's not something that you would call a trans person. But it turned out that the person
transgender versus transgendered.
Yeah, there's
yes. Okay, I did see that. You're right.
You want to be a dird. You don't want to be a
no,
dird.
You don't want to be. You want to be a dird. You don't want to be a
turd.
God, but it was just that the subtitles were wrong, and Skylar's like, yeah, they also
They named my dog's not named Roma.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was a cat. But that's like been a running. It was like you need 101 episodes for things like I don't know. I actually thought it was pretty boring. And Bobby the people gave Bobby shit because they're like, oh, they're trying to stifle his queer identity. But I'm like, I also don't want pride flags all over my house, and that's a fight that it's oh god, I don't. There's just too many rainbows, and he's like, queer's a pillar. It's a pillar. People are like, oh, they're silencing him, and it was just like. It was just stupid. I don't know.
Because of hopefully all the right reasons, I try to stay out of the tone policing part of this because I feel it now when I hear somebody either tone policing or attempting to explain to somebody with a lived experience how this should go. So I want to just bracket that I'm trying really hard not to do that. It's a terrible mistake. I and lots of other people have certainly made in the past. So I'm trying to avoid doing that. But with that said, the one part of this, like I said some on Twitter the other day where it's like, if you can only tolerate people who know at least as much as you do about a topic right now, you might want to revisit the whole idea of how education works. Which is just to say that, first of all, I do understand the need to be strident and stick to your guns and call people out for dumb bullshit, especially maybe whether they do or don't realize it's dumb bullshit. But I am very grateful to people who are willing to put up with me long enough to help me understand a distinction that means the world to them, and today does not mean anything to me. Tomorrow it might mean something to me, but first, and again, I'm not trying to say tone policing here, but I am saying, like, thank God for the people over the last 3 to 5 years who have taken a minute to go, well, that thing you did was hurtful and you didn't realize that. And I go, oh shit, no, I did not realize that was hurtful. I'm from Cincinnati and that's how we talk, and that was a dumb thing that I never had examined before. And thanks for being cool about it. I'm going to try really hard not to be a dick about that. But so, yeah, I mean, on both sides, on the one side, there's people who have to be listening to other people, but it is kind of cool when there's somebody, I mean, I understand maybe the hill you want to die on is transgender versus transgender, but there are, see, now I'm doing it. Now I'm doing the tone policing and I don't mean to. Does that make any sense, Alex?
No, it does. And well, in the article itself, I don't know. I had just assumed like that this guy, like he's an activist. He knew what he was getting into. And then in that article, he's like, well, I knew that this was going to be for housewives. Like, that was like I don't know. He had nothing negative to say. Like it's like actually, he said like you can't have like a 6-hour gender theory class.
You can't do calculus until you understand arithmetic. Let's really get the arithmetic right.
You can't go into Top Chef and like I don't know. I don't know
how to use a pressure cooker.
Yeah, I think I'm going to make dessert.
I feel the same way about people making fun of the cooking guy, like teaching people how to slice an avocado. It's like,
my God, it's so sad.
Do you not? It's like I get I understand the joke that every episode he teaches people like literally like how to make toast,
take the lid off something.
These people like they literally do not cook at all. They don't own any cooking implements. So it's showing them how to make homemade guacamole like is a big step. Like that's going from zero to something. Like what do you think they're gonna like roast a Cornish game hen for their football party?
That guy has stuff going against him. First of all, he is empirically crazy super handsome. Whereas the other guys, are good looking and charming and everything, but he is crazy handsome. The other problem is like exactly what you're describing, Max, which is this is the one thing where it would seem equally silly if he got very, very ambitious. It would be crazy if you tried to
Exactly,
show somebody how to make coq au vin when it's just their whole kitchen's covered in dog
I don't
hair.
even know what that is. Well,
It's chicken with wine.
Do you see what these people are eating when they come in? It's unbelievable.
It's my kitchen. It's just a bunch of ramen.
But it's also that like each one of them. I mean, the problem is that poor guy. It's context is the problem because the other guys are so charismatic and transcendent. Like there's the guy's name I can never remember. Karamo. Like that guy, the way that guy's going to be a movie star, mark it down. He is so charismatic, and however he's written, produced, helped, whatever is happening with what happens with his character / person on that show. I mean, except for the occasional, like, here's how to create a Facebook page. He really gets into like what is niggling at somebody and is so good at least for the TV show. You know, bringing that out. Jonathan, obviously, he's Jonathan. He's so good. It's just each one of the guys seems to have like a crazy superpower that it's just by context and comparison that the poor cooking guy ends up looking like a schmo.
It's the only one of those tasks. I mean, you can't master like hygiene and using hair products and all of that in a week, but you can learn enough to like do what you need to do.
Yeah.
I don't think the same is true of cooking. I mean, you just cannot learn the fundamentals of cooking in a week, even if it was all you were doing.
You can't even learn how to slice an onion in a week.
No.
Challenge.
So this week the challenge was mine. A couple weeks ago I was at dinner with my dad and Avengers Infinity War was out, and my dad said, "Can I go see Avengers Infinity War?" And I said, "Or will I understand it?" And I said, "Well, do you like the other Marvel movies, and what, have you seen them?" And he was like, "Well, I have given up on them because I think they're really like dark and just and I don't like that everything gets destroyed in every movie." And I was like, "Are you sure you're thinking of the Marvel movies, or are you thinking of like Batman versus Superman?" And he was like, "Yeah, the Batman, the Superman movies." So we sat down and I made on the back of the napkin, I made a list of all the Marvel movies, and I sort of called out the ones that I thought he should watch and the ones that I thought were skippable. And I was like, and they're all, and I shared them on my Plex, and I was like, these are all on my Plex, so go ahead and check these out, and if you like them and you get through them, go see the Avengers Infinity War. So I just sent you the picture of this was drawn on like the back of like a placemat or something.
Oh wow, look at that.
So the way I did mine was I put down all of the sort of 16 canonical modern Marvel movies, and then I put an asterisk next to the ones that I thought were essential to see Infinity War, and I put a dash next to the ones that were skippable. And then there's some that I didn't put anything next to that I was like, you can make your own determination about whether to see this or not.
I found this challenge so interesting and so difficult in the way that I really enjoy. I like a challenge where, because I'm a liberal arts guy and this is the way my brain works, I love trying to figure out what the question is before I go into the answer. Do you know what I mean? Like, to me, the most interesting part is
the answer is implicated in the question.
Yeah, if you don't ask the right question, you'll never get the right answer. And in this case, I kept going back to what is the goal, the successful outcome of this.
What is this in service of?
What is this in service of? Let's talk about something important. I kept coming back to that in a way that I thought was really interesting. And I is that making any sense? Do you know what I mean? Like, I kept saying, okay, so what's the goal? To make him want to see Infinity War? To make him feel like he has to see Infinity War? Or like, are we trying to build a relationship with the Marvel things to get to where he'll even put up with that shitty movie because he enjoyed these other ones so much? And my personal constraint was to try and do it, if possible, in 6 or fewer movies. And no matter how I sliced and diced it, I found this very challenging. What did you think, Alex?
I don't know how. Well, so I went into it with sort of Max's dad's thing of like, I just want to see Infinity War and know what's happening and be invested in the characters. Do you want to hear the list of movies that I selected?
Say that again?
I just saw your list. Oh boy, hello. I went in.
Oh my God, Merlin!
Oh my God!
What?
You made a fucking spreadsheet with dates.
I make a spreadsheet for every challenge, guys.
Okay. Oh man, ours are very similar.
Yeah. Well,
let's. Okay. So, can we agree though? I mean, can I take this over for a second? Do we like the idea of like in your head? What were the kinds of approaches you went through before you arrived at your final? This is the solution.
So for me, I was thinking the main thing I was thinking is information, right? Because I was like, they're probably not going to put too much exposition. No, I had seen Infinity War at this point.
Yeah.
So I knew for a fact that there wasn't that much exposition. You know, that, for example, so here's an example. I knew that if you hadn't seen any Guardians of the Galaxy movies,
Yes.
that in Infinity War would be almost not
It would
understandable
be
at all.
distractingly confusing.
You would
Yeah.
be like, what the fuck is the Collector, and where are they, and why are they flying on spaceships, and like, this is not Spider-Man, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's just like, it would be so it would be so indecipherable. And I weirdly thought the same thing about Doctor Strange. I thought if you hadn't seen Doctor Strange at all,
Yeah.
the concept of this guy just doing like magic spells, like he plays a pretty significant role in the film, and I think that he's kind of out of sorts with what you might know about superheroes. But realistically, like, I think if you don't know a lot about Iron Man and Captain America, you've seen enough, you probably have absorbed from pop culture what their deal is.
Right. Can I jump straight to the part that I find the most perplexing in my head?
Yes. Well,
So-
I had one question though for Alex before we
Oh,
move
yeah,
on.
go ahead.
How many did you pick, Alex? Just quantity.
Oh boy. 2.
So I
Two
have,
necessary.
oh Jesus! I have
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
I had 8.
If I
was my minimum.
would have more and different if I had any other number besides 6. Well, think about it. I mean, because now it's quantitatively changing. If you get down to 1 or 2, it's like, well, you don't really have to see that many things. And in that case, I could just pick probably 2. But wow, that's really good. What are your 2?
I think all you need is Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's good.
That
is
is-
real good.
That is technically probably true.
Technically, probably true.
I also, the thing I think I added to, if you want to be more invested in the universe and the characters, it would also be Iron Man and Spider-Man Homecoming. And the only reason, which you'd think that doesn't make sense, but Spider-Man Homecoming like establishes even more that the Avengers are like a thing in the world, that they are like, you know, they're well known, and it's not just.
Oh boy, I don't think you need. So
I don't think you need it.
I
but
put Spider-Man Homecoming for the reason Merlin said, which is like affinity. Like, I think it helps in this movie a lot. It's a very heavy. Infinity War is a very heavy movie, and I think that like caring about some of the characters will help pull you through the boring sort of plot heavy exposition, Josh Brolin talking slowly parts. And to me, like,
exactly.
if I didn't know anything about Tom Holland's Spider-Man before going into it, I think I just wouldn't care so much about this film.
yeah, I think it's a
he's
similar
vulnerable.
reason.
He's
Yes.
vulnerable in a way that the other superheroes are not, and I'm like slightly more invested in their scenes because I care about his character.
I think it's interesting. Like, I had not. Before Infinity War, I had not seen Thor Ragnarok. I'd not seen Guardians 2. I'd not seen Doctor Strange. Still haven't seen Ant-Man.
But how about the part with... So if you haven't seen Ragnarok, you're missing like probably one of the best sort of storylines in Infinity War, which is the Thor story. Like, just
Right.
he's so broken.
But he just said at the beginning. So you have that scene at the beginning.
I know, but you haven't seen it.
Well, now I've seen it, but like I hadn't at the time, and that didn't make me think that Thor was any less broken. You know what I mean? Like, after seeing Thor Ragnarok, I wasn't like, oh, it's even more tragic than I thought.
Merlin, I cut you off a minute ago, but you had another question. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. The one thing I kept trying to do, and unfortunately my memory is not good enough that I remember exactly which thing happened in which thing, but what I finally arrived at was a combination of basically a kind of a negotiation between the two things I wanted to do, which is to, number one, show you the movies that I think are good from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then second, to show you the movies that would give you a clue as to whether or not you'd want to watch Infinity War. And that's where I started running into problems. So I'm ready to abandon all of these, but my 6 picks are the first Iron Man, Captain America, the first Avenger, Marvel's The Avengers, Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wait. Slow down. Wait, wait, sorry. Start over. What was your first one?
Look in the text. You can see it in there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Number 1,
So Iron Man.
Number 2.
I think... Are we going to go through these and talk about them or what?
Well, here's the part that's driving me fucking crazy is like, okay, I very much I didn't love Ultron when it came out, and now I actively do not like it, and I think it is a bad and dumb movie. And what's funny is
it's not good.
It's probably the worst.
And it comes
all.
after Guardians, which is a balls out hit classic in my mind.
But here's the thing to keep in mind. It chronologically was released after Guardians, but it was not made after Guardians.
Well, I guess I just mean that.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Guardians. I just mean that Guardians kicks off an era where I started feeling very strongly one way or another about the movies. The ones I didn't like, I didn't love Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But look at that run. I mean, you got Ant-Man, you got Doctor Strange, you got Spider-Man Homecoming, Ragnarok, and Black Panther. And the part that drove me fucking bananas in putting this together, I'm ready to throw this out, but a lot of the stuff from everything since Civil War, I think there's not that much in those movies you have to see Infinity War. The one that kills me, of course, is Black Panther, which I think is arguably one of the great movies they have ever made. It's an inarguably great movie to me. I don't think it's critical to see Black Panther for Infinity War.
Unfortunately, they set up Wakanda just enough in Infinity War that you don't need to see Black Panther.
It's so cool. I mean, you don't have to agree, but did that make sense?
Yeah,
absolutely.
On my list, what I took into account was I think that Guardians of the Galaxy was a turning point for Marvel Studios that helped them figure out what they were about and what they were doing, like spiritually.
It's the first time they let a director direct.
Correct. It was like the first very opinionated director-led film. It was really colorful and funny and goofy.
And the response seemed overwhelming. I was pumping, at least for me, I can't speak for the world, but I was pumping my fucking fist. I was like, this is so why I love movies. This is why I love movies. What is happening right now with him walking around with the Walkman and kicking the little animal. This is why I love movies.
It was so joyful, and so I think what you can see is I believe Marvel got into a little bit of a rut. So I think the Avengers was like a colossal Goliath hit, and then they were taking themselves very seriously, and they did Iron Man 3, which was a very dark film. Thor: The Dark World literally has dark in the title. Serious,
Winter Soldier was
film.
Pretty grown up.
Winter Soldier, which I don't think is a good film, or I think it's a good action movie, but it's a completely inessential and boring Marvel movie.
Good inspiration for fan fiction.
And then they also, that before Guardians of the Galaxy came out, they were already producing Avengers: Age of Ultron. So that was probably already completely filmed.
That's where we meet. Is that where we meet? Not Jarvis, but that's where we meet Vision.
But
And
for
Scarlet Witch.
15 minutes.
And Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
So I think after Avengers: Age of Ultron and Guardians of the Galaxy came out, I think Marvel looked at those two movies side by side and said, one of these paths is the way forward for the studio, and Guardians was just a way more fun and good movie. And I think they clearly went in that direction because the stuff that they made after that, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, they're these Black Panther, literally colorful, weird, funny, surprising, heavily art directed,
and about a world.
Correct. Yeah, they're milieu films as much as anything.
And also, they're cheaper. At the end of the day, you don't have the egos involved. You don't have to get all of these guys together.
Right.
Yeah.
It's cynical to think about that.
It's one thing. It's one thing to have Robert Downey Jr. jet in for 2 days of shooting, and another thing to have him in a soundstage in sweatpants in Atlanta for 6 months.
He couldn't change out of those sweatpants. Come on.
Dress it up a little bit. Elevate the look.
All right. Well, why don't we go through each of these films and talk about if we put them on and why or why not?
Oh, this show's good.
It's calculus though, because every change I make changes all the things.
Yeah.
All right. Spoilers.
So Iron Man. Clearly, yes to me. It establishes the whole thing that you need to know about what we're doing here.
It's nearly impossible that they pulled that movie off, and that it still to this day stands as, to me, inarguably one of the best movies in the MCU. Full stop. And that they did that with this guy who had all of these problems. Everybody said, you're never going to get this movie made. And it's still an utter joy to watch and a wonderful piece of filmmaking.
I think the third act is really boring, but it sets up what Marvel, what's going. It just gets you into the you want to see more after that movie.
Yeah.
It leaves you wanting more.
No, because all of his shit is showed in the Avengers.
But you're saying not necessary?
Correct.
Oh, in microcosm, you see his journey. I sort of
That's a good point. I mean, there's lots of Iron Man and all the things, and he doesn't change that much. He just gets different suits.
Merlin, I'm very excited to see that you and I both put Captain America: The First Avenger as one of our picks.
I don't understand why more people don't adore that movie.
I
love
agree with
it.
you.
The second act sags a little bit when they're not sure what to do with Steve. I think that is a fantastic movie from so many points of view.
It's one of the best movies they've ever made. The sequence where
With the flagpole.
where he's punching Hitler.
Oh, right.
Where he's doing the victory bonds show.
Yeah.
It's probably, I think that's probably the best thing that Marvel's ever put on film. Like, it's just it's an amazing sequence.
I don't think you need it.
I put
but I love
you
it.
don't, but I put it in because it's difficult. Now, this is very personal, but for me, it would be hard for me to like Captain America as a character as much as I do without that movie. And if you don't like Captain America is like what the Anakin Skywalker of this. Like he and Iron Man are really the linchpins of this series, I think.
Right.
If you don't like those, or if you aren't interested in their personalities and why they're the way they are, these movies are even more tedious than they need to be.
The other thing I was thinking about, I forgot about this, but the other thing I was thinking about is like, I know they recognize the trick that they're doing with these stupid MacGuffin gems or whatever, but I do think that it does. It's if you've seen a few of them in play, it does help you understand a little bit of what's going on in Infinity War.
Mm-hmm. That's
like,
true.
That's true. Like, if you had never seen those gems before, missed all those movies, you'd be like, well, who gives a shit? Suddenly there's these gems. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at least it establishes that they're like a thing that everyone wants.
Yeah, at least you have to know what the MacGuffin is.
Was that in Captain? Were there gems?
Yeah, the Tesseract.
The Tesseract starts there.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the whole
You're right.
plot of the film.
You're right.
So then let's see. Then we had the same picks here. So then we both skipped to the Avengers.
Duh. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I
what
mean,
else
it's kind of like, I can't believe how much I've come around quietly to Andy Ihnatko's point of view at the time, which was a very controversial point of view, which is like, this is not really a movie. It's like almost like a trade show. Like there's just so much going on. It's not, and it is what it is. And now, but see, everybody always comes back and says, well, yeah, that's what it is. It's the big thing. And but like, it hasn't aged that super well. I still enjoy it, but it really does
the colors. Wow.
It's a bunch of CGI green screen running around mostly.
I think if they had made a better, I think the destruction of Joss Whedon in everything that went wrong in that film, like you said, so with the first Avengers, they had already done Iron Man 3 and Thor. So I think that because the Avengers, while it made a shit ton of money, no one was happy making it, and that's when they started Guardians, and that's when they did like the second age or whatever we're calling it. Yeah.
So let's see. We skip.
We should probably speed this up a little bit. I forgot about
so we skip Thor. We skip Iron Man 3, and I
want to stipulate for the record on mine. You'll see which ones are important and which ones I give the stars to. The fact is, I love the first Thor movie. I may be alone in that. I think that's a very fun movie. A lot of these are really fun movies as movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're not critical. So you gave Winter Soldier not high marks.
I did not. I said skip Winter Soldier. I actually think it's like one of the. So I feel the same way you do about Thor. I think it's a really good film. Like it's a good spy film, but you don't need to know anything about what happens in that film. It's of no consequence.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
It's fun, and I think it also like develops the Black Widow character a little bit, and you see the fall of Shield and all of that, but I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's not that good of a movie. Then Guardians is absolutely essential. I agree with Alex that that's like if you missed that, you'd be so upset during Infinity War.
That is the Marvel universe is. I mean, moving in the direction of definitely Guardians and to some extent Doctor Strange. I think that is. I don't know if it's just because they know that's more interesting to look at than CGI fights.
I also think James Gunn is easier to work with.
Interesting.
I'm focusing on the boring backstory stuff, but yeah, I really love this movie for its exposition and just as it's a good film.
Well, things that people love. I think I've talked about my theory on this on the podcast, but things that people love that rise to the level of like pop culture, a status, the same as the Marvel universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They combine what's like nostalgic and comfortable for people with something novel that they haven't seen before. So you're lured in by something that you already want, and then they give you something you didn't know you want, and that's magic.
Yeah.
When you give people that, they will be with you for the rest of their lives. So to me, the formula that you're talking about, Alex, if you take something extremely familiar, which is the Joseph Campbell's hero's journey with a superhero that we've all seen that movie 10 million times, we could all close our eyes and tell you the beats and what happens going into the the stakes are raised going into the third act, and whatever, and he has to go into the underworld and emerge learning something about himself. Like it's like we could all say that with our eyes closed, but if you do it with a new director, like a very editorial director who has something new to say about the making that film, it's thrilling. Like I would watch Thor Ragnarok movies a billion times, even though
100%.
I know the beats of that movie, we could all say with our eyes closed, like on autopilot, that it's this great opinionated director like putting this candy on screen for us is very fun.
Nom, 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 nom.
All right, so I said skip Ultron. I said skip Ant-Man, or I said watch Ant-Man. I was neutral on Ant-Man. I was like, you don't need to see this.
I didn't rate that high enough. I liked a lot about it. You know what it is? I just saw the new one. My daughter and I saw it last week, and
Yep.
it's like, I mean, I feel like such a karma suck, but I love the cast. Love the cast. Love the performances. The story's so stupid. All that hand-wavy science stuff is just to get to where there's a 3-digit number that tells you where Michelle Pfeiffer is. What? Like, it's just all so unnecessary, and the big spinny dungeon dice. It's like, but the performances are fantastic. Like, to a person, they were all great.
I thought that it was what Marvel needed, which was like a small movie, relatively.
The first Ant-Man.
No, the new one.
Oh, okay,
Now,
okay,
now. They just needed like a smaller film where the fate of the world wasn't at stake.
Yeah, and there's giant ants running around. It's fun.
Yeah. All right. I said do watch Doctor Strange. You had skipped Doctor Strange.
Yeah, on the bubble. You're probably right. I forget what a big part he had in Infinity War.
Now, I also said you could skip Civil War.
Yeah,
But I don't think that was a good film.
Yeah.
But it turns out that maybe it's pretty important to the
What's
whole MCU.
what's important?
Well, you have to know about the Sokovia Accords and stuff like that.
and the raising,
Yes.
the raising of the stakes of this of what's happening in the story, but also just the idea that you're not just dealing with the Chitauri anymore. You're dealing with a more like 70s film problem. Like you've got a system that you're fighting against now, like overtly.
Yeah, I said skip Guardians Volume 2. Sadly, skip.
You said yes, Homecoming.
I said yes, Homecoming, absolutely. I think that's one of those. You know how you said there's the secondary project of like the person has to like the Marvel movies to really get into this,
Or at least understand why they're how they are.
I mean, man, boy, like if you don't see Homecoming, I think that's one of the best movies they've ever done. It's one of my favorite movies of the last few years. I just loved it.
I did too.
It was great. I said definitely see Thor Ragnarok
Love
and definitely
Thor
see
Ragnarok.
Black Panther.
What a fucking great movie.
And I said yes, Black Panther, but that's why I have 8 and you have 6.
Yeah.
That right there, that's why.
I've just changed my approach.
boop.
There's three films, but in a certain order. You need to watch Spider-Man: Homecoming, then Avengers, then Guardians of the Galaxy. Because if you don't like Spider-Man: Homecoming, you're not going to care about anything else.
Just trying to think. Could you? No, because you have to have seen Avengers to understand Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Well, no. You know who Iron Man is. You know who the Avengers are. Like they explain what he explains like, the Avengers, they have saved New York City so many times and like all that. And they do enough of Peter's
I think
backstory.
that I've prepared like a flight of wine tastings to titillate your palate, and it's a progression. You know, you progress up the Swiss Alps as you experience a bouquet of flavors. And you're doing like Jello shots over here, Alex.
Yes.
You're like I can get you drunk the quickest.
Alex got her a funnel.
Woo! It's the after show. All right, let me. We got to dial in Anita.
Okay.